Okay, I want to take calls now. Please have a quick question or comment. I'm sure we'll probably have horror stories of people being paralyzed or killed that are flooding in. But Ronnie in Texas, you're on the air with Dr. Sherri Tenpenny. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for the great debate last night. And as a follow-up, two related ideas by awakening fellow citizens about these dangerously untested experimental vaccines. Is it not our great opportunity right now to open their minds about organic farming, freedom for knowledge about organic farming to help family farms?
Yes, Ronnie, I appreciate your call. We've got to get on the offensive against this whole system. And he made me think of something. He just brought up the fact, because I talked to you off air, you said the majority of people were on your side at the event, and the undecideds, that they woke up by the end of it.
Yeah, I thought that the people that were there last night, that the vast majority of them, they were from the libertarians, and they were really on the whole health freedom side of the equation. And I think that they were more supportive of vaccine information and vaccine freedom of choice. And I think that the neutral parties that were there, by the time that they were left and they saw the good arguments that we had, backed up by sound, decisive things that we said versus kind of the, I would say, lame discussions that happened from the health department and the same old status quo. I think that a lot of people left very enlightened by the information they got last night.
By the way, we're going to take that video conference and post it at prisonplanet.tv for the folks over there, and then we'll get ripped everywhere else, and that's great. Jeff in Missouri, do you have a question for our guest?
Yes, I do. Dr. Tenpenny, I was wondering if, I know you're not a veterinarian, but I was wondering if you knew anything about the H3N8 dog virus.
You know, I really don't. There's so much information that needs to be handled and read and assimilated every day from the human side. I really haven't gotten involved with the animals at all. I
worked for a large animal vet and a small animal vet. This was 20 years ago. And I remember them advising people, look, they say give the shot every year. It's not good. It can hurt your dog. Now they're not saying give them every year. The vaccine makers just went and paid off the Veterinarian Society, and a lot of major veterinary groups are coming out and saying these vaccines are killing people's dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, we're marching on every front. The truth's coming out. And I think this whole vaccine scare, this whole push for bird flu and swine flu was really an attempt for them to get back control of the situation. But I think like judo, we took them on and slammed them through the wall. Do you agree we're kicking their butt?
I think that was really good. Yeah, it was. That was good.
Well, hey, we're discovering our fighting spirit. Thank you, Jeff. I'm going quick because I want everybody to get on. Jim in New York, you're on the air with Dr. Sherri Tenpenny. Go.
I talked with the husband of a scientist who works at the Cold Spring lab. They've been together for a long time. They actually live there at Cold Spring. Cold Springs
is the eugenics IBM bioweapons area, yes.
That's right. Yeah, she's actually doing research in autism, though. And when I had this conversation, I said, oh, so she's probably linked up that vaccines have caused this. And that changed his whole demeanor. He flat out came out and said, that is a complete fraud. There's absolutely no link. And the theory that they have at Cold Spring, which is what they're trying to push, is that because men are having babies later, it's actually the male sperm.
Yes, I've seen those studies. See, they're eugenicists at Cold Springs. That's where it was founded. Hitler got all his plans from Cold Springs, as you know, Doctor. That's what Endgame covers, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. They're saying, oh, we all have bad genetics, and so we need to pass laws to test your genes to see if you can have kids.
Yeah,
and it's true from the studies that boys get it more, from what I've seen, because the mercury genetically passes through to the brain at a higher level. That's what I've read. Is that?
Well, some of it has to do, they think it has to do with the testosterone levels. And they think that the higher testosterone has a worse of a problem with the mercury on the brain. But
so see, there's a little bit of truth there, but it's, yeah.
But I think that what's really interesting is that when they did the whole Human Genome Project and they're looking at genes, is what they don't understand, that the gene pool is fluid and something has to push those genes. It could be a chemical environment, a vaccine, a toxin, and it's not going to be the same for every person.
Well, the director of Cold Springs had to resign last year for saying blacks weren't human. Before that was even in the news, I named him as a top eugenicist, Dr. Watson, in Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. I'm going to talk to Jessica, Tim, and Larry with quick questions here in just a moment. But Dr. Sherri Tenpenny, Rob Dew, a couple months ago, was up there interviewing her for Fall of the Republic 2. And he said, you ought to come out with T-shirts to fund your operation, plus get the word out. And she brought me a bunch of them. They're really good-looking shirts. Vaccine Refusnik. She's given me 3 of them. Go to drtenpenny.com and check out the store there and support the work she's doing. In fact, she's wearing one of them right now. Maybe with that camera we can zoom in on these. This is one that says forced, mandatory, required.
No.
And we're saying no to those. drtenpenny.com on the back. Don't inject me is on the back. So go to drtenpenny.com and get those and get all our T-shirts, like the Gadsden flag, you name it, at Infowars.com, because this is walking billboards for the truth. We've got to bypass the mainstream media and get the job done.
Thank you, Alex.
Doc, that's a good idea, and I'm glad you took our advice on that, because we all need to fund ourselves to build a bigger platform. We don't have George Soros funding us. Jessica in Michigan, you're on the air. Jessica, go ahead.
Hi, I work at a large hospital here in Grand Rapids, and they have made the flu vaccine mandatory this year for this first time. And I am religiously opposed to that, and I've made that clear to everybody there pretty much. So this morning, Human Resources approached me after work, and they told me that they have set up an appointment for me to meet with a board, and I have 15 minutes to plead my case to them as to why I should be exempt from the vaccine. And currently they're only allowing medical exemption, and so I don't know, just wondering if you had any advice on.
Well, say you have an allergy. But why to have a job?
Well,
you have to take the shot.
And you have to give you have to sign a paper giving full access to all of your medical records, and then they have a committee that reviews that.
Ma'am, this is tyranny. This is just tyranny.
I totally agree.
What should she do, doctor?
Well, one of the most important things you can do is to try to find some like-minded people. Find some other people that you can band together with and go collectively as a group, because I am sure that in the place where you work, that there are other people who want to refuse this vaccine.
Yes, you're isolated. They want to corner you. That's what
Exactly.
That's why they're forcibly inoculating only elementary kids, because they know they're defenseless.
Exactly. And if you can find some like-minded people, there's already a nursing shortage. They can't fire or suspend all of you. So you really need to get together collectively.
And you tell them it's a religious discrimination and that you may have to sue them, and they'll back off.
Yeah.
Decide it's against your religion today.
I think that people are going to need to be that strong and stand up for that.
Well, look, they stood up in England. They stood up in Germany. They ordered the doctors to fine people that didn't do it. If they didn't take the shot, the doctors said, we'll just quit. I mean, we've got to learn to say no. They tried to put GMO food in France. The farmers went crazy.
Yeah.
And we've got to grow a backbone like Americans used to. Ma'am, I'm sorry to hear that's happening to you. Tim in Ohio, you're on the air with Dr. Sherri Tenpenny. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Hello, Dr. Tenpenny.
Good afternoon.
I'm right next door to you when you're at home in Lorain County. Alex, I missed a message with your video guys. I could have captured that interview. I got all the cameras and all the production.
Okay, great. You have a question for her, Tim? We're almost out of time.
Yes, Dr. Tenpenny. I noticed on the local stations, Monica Roffins, Stephanie Schaefer, Lee Jordan, Alicia Booth, Dawn Kendrick, none of them will have you on. Why?
That's pretty interesting. It's sort of like you're never a prophet in your own town, are you? But I was on Mike Trivisano a couple of weeks ago on 1100 AM, and I was supposed to be on last Thursday, but got preempted by the military base thing that happened.
Yeah. Tim, thank you.